I saw this person following me on Instagram, and it immediately reminded me of a not so good story that happened. Story time. I saw this person following me on Instagram, and it immediately reminded me of a not so good story that happened. So I was in grad school, and this teacher I really liked from the beginning, right? I thought she was cool. Turns out we had the same birthday month. Her birthday was a couple days before mine, and I just really liked her when I first met her, okay? So during grad school, I had to have 2 major spinal surgeries, okay? And I thought it was going to throw me off with graduating on time and finishing my projects, but God miraculously healed me from both of those major surgeries during grad school. At the time, I was driving and ride sharing, things like that. I decided to sign up with a temp agency, and I was signed up with I think it was Robert Half or somebody like that. So the girl gave me an assignment at Canon, and I was so excited because I love cameras, right? And it was just a receptionist position, but it was in Canon where the professionals came to drop off their cameras and have them repaired. And so while I was there, I would get to meet photographers and directors and DPs and people of that sorts when they came into the building, and we would strike up a conversation and things like that. So the lady who I had to report to happened to be a friend of the instructor that I'm talking about in school, who I liked immediately. And I didn't say anything, because I'm going to fast forward the story, because as time went by, the instructor didn't like me anymore. So when I got the position and I heard some kind of way that they were friends, I didn't say anything, right? So when the people would come in and bring their cameras and their gear, and we would strike up conversations, the lady that I reported to, her friend, started being nasty with me. They would say things like, "Oh, I should introduce you to so-and-so. Oh, maybe one day you could come to the set." Or, "Oh, maybe thank you for that advice. I'm going to give it I'm going to go follow you. I'm going to give it a try. I appreciate that. I never thought about that." So she started getting jealous of the possibility of me making connections to further my career. Okay? Now, push pause on that part. This was also around the time, I don't know if you remember, there was an incident in the news where an employee had come in and shut up, I shouldn't say that, and did the pow-pows at his job, right? And so one day I get there and they say we have to have a meeting. And so they're all around the receptionist desk talking. It wasn't but about 5 or 6 of us in that office. None of them were African American or Black. And so they're talking, what steps we would take, and she says, well, us upstairs, we're going to lock the door, and then we'll go out the window and down the fire escape. And so the guy that sat across from me, through some doors, and he said, well, I can quickly run out this side door, close the door, and make it to the back to get out, right? The people in the back they're like, well, we're already in the back, so we'll be able to get out quickly. And so they all look at me, I kid you not, they look at me and said, well, she'll be the first one he sees. Excuse me? I said, what? Well, you're in the front. You're the receptionist. I said, no, I'll just get up and run up the stairs right here, because there were stairs there. I just said it, right? Just to hear what they would. She said, oh, no, that door will be locked. You won't be able to make up stairs. And so again, one of the guys said, well, you're the first one he'll see. I'm the first one he'll unalive. They said this to me in my face. And so the lady started causing more conflicts, right? Every time she heard someone talking to me, she would come downstairs and break up the conversation as if I'm not doing my job. But my job was to talk to the customer and get the information and write it down and, find out what they needed. And while they were waiting, what I'm supposed to do, tell them don't talk to me? Don't talk to the receptionist who's there to make people feel comfortable. So eventually she called the temp agency and ended let me back up. So shortly after that, let me back up. Another quickie before all of this. So the guy who they did classes. And so there's this one guy who taught classes or whatever, and one day he said, Patricia, can you sit here in the chair? He was setting up the lighting. And so with the cameras, I sat there, and when I sat down and they turned on all the lights and everything, he went, oh my God, you look great on camera. Do you think sometimes in the evenings when we have a class, you could sit here and be our model and we could pay you? I think it was about $300 or something, and I could just pay. I said, yeah, I can do it anytime, baby. She almost broke her freaking neck coming down those stairs to dismantle that idea. I can't do that. No, that is not allowed. So then shortly after that, she kept finding tidbits. And so she called the guy who's over her, I guess, her supervisor. He was in Irvine. He came all the way from Irvine to have a talk with me. So I told him what they said about me getting unalived if someone came in the building with a pow. And he was just flabbergasted, right? You didn't tell me. I said, what am I going to say? How am I going to explain this to you? So immediately after that, they ended my assignment, which then made the temp agency put me on the 187 list. So they never used me again. So once we mess up, even if it's not our fault, they will not send us out to companies anymore. And so based on how she treated me, I know she said some stuff that was really fabricated to the agency, because they never used me again and I was out of a job. Oh, before the end, I'm sorry, I know I went out of order, but after that meeting, sometime she comes up to me and she says, you didn't tell me you knew Mary. I said, no. She says, you go to Mount St. Mary's? I said, yeah, I'm in the grad program. You didn't tell me that. You know I know Mary. I said, yeah, I know her. You didn't tell me. I said, why would I?